So, dominant performance by the Thunder in Game 7. But, Paul, did they put the NBA on notice?
Ooh, I don't know if they put the NBA on notice, but they put me on notice. I'm not going to lie to you. When I watch the Thunder, they look like a buzzsaw coming at you at certain times. I mean, they force turnovers, they're fast in transition, and you got a go-to guy who most likely is going to be the MVP. I mean, this team, nobody is giving any credit because how young they are, and they haven't got the respect. They got my respect after watching them through a 7-game series, and I said, man, if the Celtics, lose to the Knicks, this is whoever comes out of this series right here, Denver and OKC, they gonna win it all because I saw so many elements. I saw beautiful basketball. I saw championship level basketball in this series, and I saw two guys battling for the MVP. I'm like, why they haven't named the MVP yet? Because I think the league was waiting to see who won this series to justify it. I don't know. I'm just my theory. Rick knows more on that than me.
Yeah, Rick.
He's one of the insiders.
Yeah, we were all holding our votes. We wanted to see which way that series went.
I just saw high-level basketball, and I think the Thunder are going to win it all because I said whoever comes out this series is going to win it. They lost last year at heartbreak being the number 1 seed. They're the number 1 seed by a whole lot this year. This series proved to me that they're finally battle-tested. This battle-tested them. They went toe-to-toe with the best player in the NBA and showed them who was boss. I think they're going to win it all.
The win was not what put them on notice or what I noticed the most. It was their demeanor afterward. For a team that's getting to the Western Conference, to your point, was disappointed in that they got knocked out early, and now they make the Western Conference Finals, and they're the only 60-win team left among the top teams still alive. And it was, you know what? Okay, that's another step in the journey, but we are not done. Like that, I've seen young teams get to a place that they never have before, and the confetti's coming down, and you can see them celebrating, and I saw none of that with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So for me, that's what puts me on notice. But, I mean, I could say the same about the Knicks beating a very tough Detroit Pistons team and then knocking out, and I mean knocking out. I mean, Paul, I mean obliterating. I mean spanking.
They put the steel-toe boots on our head.
Getting the belt out.
No, they put the steel
on
toe.
The bus.
This is New York. They put the steel toes.
Not the buckle.
The belt with the buckle on those Boston Celtics.
They put the steel toes on our head. Them Timberlands they wear, they call them steel toes. They put them on our head.
I mean, we could say the same about the New York Knicks and what they did to the Boston Celtics. It was just as much of a massacre as what Oklahoma City did to the Denver Nuggets. So I think that I noticed how the Thunder took the win, but do I think that this makes them a prohibitive favorite? Have they put the fear of God in the Pacers and the Knicks and the Timberwolves? I wouldn't go that far.
See, I look at the regular season when you look at 60 wins. They already put, you say the rest of the NBA, well, they took care of that business in the regular season. You only got 3 other teams outside of them in the postseason. Mm-hmm. So they certainly have opened the eyes of Minnesota, of the Pacers, and the Knicks to be able to watch because they had enough time to watch those games and see how they ran up and down the court on the Denver Nuggets. So I think when you look at it, if anything, it's the teams that's left in the playoffs right now that they have woken their eyes up and be able to say, oh, they are for real. They did win 60 in the regular season, but they also have now carried that into the postseason with the shellacking of the Denver Nuggets. So Rick is right. When you were a young team and you get so close one year and then you go back and you climb the ladder again and you kind of get further than where you were before, you start to really believe in who you are. All teams are that way. I mean, Paul's teams were that way. My teams were that way where we were knocking on the door and we thought we were this, and then when we finally hit, that was the case.
But I love that they're not satisfied by that.
Oh, you're never satisfied
by taking
the
next. But I've seen teams that woo, we finally, they take a breath, right? And they didn't take a breath. The other reason.
It's not finished, though. Business not done.
Understood. But I think one of the other reasons that I discount it, and I wonder, Joy, what your perspective is the fact that they were playing a Denver Nuggets team that was running on fumes at that point. I mean, if we're
So now
saying
Denver's running on fumes.
no. If we're saying it's because of the way they won the game, that it was a 32-point blowout, I have to acknowledge the fact that Aaron Gordon was playing on one leg.
You have to acknowledge the fact that they did have a game where they beat them by 40 points, too, in the series. Remember that in game 2?
Yeah, okay.
That puts me on notice because that doesn't happen. This is the Denver Nuggets. This is a championship contender. You don't just treat them like that.
So you done beat them by 72 in 2 games?
In 2 games. That don't happen. I haven't seen it.
I do think that how they won as convincingly as they won does say something. It was a game 7, and it is the best player on the planet that they're going up against. And obviously, like Paul said earlier, you need a little luck. So maybe they got a little luck that Denver wasn't at 100%, just a little bit.
Listen.
But I don't believe that, though. I don't know that the Thunder necessarily put the NBA on notice, because I agree with Key. You had to have been paying attention to them this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've been quite dominant. They've been doing this to teams all season long during the regular season. But I do think it's important that they closed out the Nuggets, because the Nuggets have the ability to pull it together for a game. They could have won that game, but they not only won, they won convincingly. But the 23 forced turnovers is what stuck out to me, because it wasn't just that they were fast and they were moving the ball and they felt all on the same page and they were playing great basketball, but the defense is interesting as well. They were messing things up for Denver. They were stopping them. They were stealing the ball. They were just playing with another energy level than Denver was playing with, and that is what is scary about it to me. Because that to me is why they won.
You think they got the right draw though, Paul? Like if they would have, meaning they being a number 1 seed, that they got the right teams that they went up against. If they would have maybe seen Steph got hurt, but if they would have seen a Golden State early, or maybe even a Laker Clipper early, would it be a different?
I think this playoffs was all about matchups. I do believe in the Western Conference. Because when you look at it, you got the lower seeds advanced, like Houston.
Yeah.
They got a bad draw getting Golden State. And then Minnesota was a bad matchup for Golden State. I thought it was a certain draw. And also in the Eastern Conference, look at Indiana. Mm-hmm. That was as much as people want to say they thought Cleveland, but when I looked at the matchups, I was like, hold on, this is going to be a problem for Cleveland to get past. I didn't think it'd go 5. I thought it'd be extended a little more, but that was a bad matchup for Cleveland. I think Cleveland would have beat New York.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, but I'm on notice.
Giving New York no love, no credit.
I did give them some credit. You beat the Celtics. Of course you get some credit. Of course I'm familiar with Tom Thibodeau, who's one of the best.
You give me like a CVS coupon is what you're giving me. You're not giving me legit.
I'm not giving you Target yet. You ain't getting that yet. You get CVS.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.